And we're back for another episode of the Department Podcast with Justin Valentovic, Stephen Clark, Jesse Norman, and Joe Paolantonio. And it's Monday night. That means we're here to break down Week 7 of the NFL season. Can't believe it's already Week 7. Next week we'll be halfway through at Week 8. The time is flying by. But we had a really good week of football to break down. 13 games basically, and basically majority of them were all pretty good. But what's going on, guys?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Joe.
I'm so excited. After the 1 o'clock window, I was like, I am ready to talk. After the 4 o'clock window, I was like, I am super, super ready to talk. This is going to be outstanding. And then after the Sunday night game, I was like, we are so blessed to be able to do this podcast. This is awesome.
Yeah, we are blessed to do this podcast, to be able to talk sports freely on a free basis where everybody and anybody could listen to us if they really wanted to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, and follow us on @department_pod. But
there's the shameless plug.
Yeah, but it was a phenomenal week.
I'll get it out early. I mean,
you may as well. No one makes it to the end anyway.
I got it in the first couple minutes. No one listens all the way to the end except for like my mom and Pete Vacatoro. So
Jaguars fan. Jaguars. Yeah, we got Jaguars fans and Dolphins fans who get their teams at the back end usually.
Dolphins fan.
And no, just anyone. I'm just talking about just
those teams are usually in the second hour.
Who's the Jaguars?
Well, right, based on the matchup.
Maury's the Jaguars fan.
Well, based on the
That's
matchup,
one.
we've been talking about Ravens and like the Chiefs and like the ass end of the podcast just because they've been playing terrible teams. But that's here nor there. But the matchups this week, all the good matchups basically delivered, and I'm ready to get into it. What about you guys?
Sure.
Well, we do draft style here, and Joe, you have the first pick this week. Where do you want to go first for the first game of the podcast?
I was taking recommendations because I didn't know where to start, and I was wondering where I was going to, because we just had so many great games. But I'm going to start with one of the it's tough to say best games because it was so sloppy, but one of the most entertaining games, Sunday Night Football, Cardinals Seahawks. It hurts. It hurts to do this. But now, like, we're looking at the numbers here. 519 total yards in the Cardinals. They did not get a hit on Kyler Murray officially. Nothing. Russell Wilson was, outside of really 3 throws, outstanding. Really outstanding. Running game got taken out at halftime. No Chris Carson. And Kyler Murray put on a show. I mean, you see his little smile one-on-one to D-Hop over the top. Beautiful, gorgeous deep ball. Kingsbury got a little heat for kicking on second down, which, you can go either way on that one, but he really did coach a beautiful game. I mean, how many coaches in the NFL, 54 seconds, marching down the field at the end of regulation, go elect for 2 handoffs he went for? It's absolutely just galaxy brain thinking on Cliff Kingsbury's behalf.
Also with Kingsbury though, his defense bailed out a lot of different plays there. It doesn't help that he iced his own kicker before the end of regulation. Yeah. But for me, thankfully, I'm glad he did because I ultimately won my fantasy matchup because of it. I needed those extra minutes.
I didn't.
Clark,
thank you, Kyler. Thank you, Kyler.
The streak is over. I just think honestly, Kingsbury, he outcoached Pete Carroll too. Just throughout the whole game, he's showing how much of an elite coach he's becoming in the NFL right now, and the Cardinals are clicking. And I want to bring up the fact that Joe said that Russ only had 3 bad throws, basically, also, but played a phenomenal game. Russ still is in the MVP convo. I've seen a lot of hate.
Absolutely.
I was seeing a lot of hate on Twitter all over the internet last night saying, get this guy out of the convo, give it to Mahomes, give it to whoever.
I mean,
no.
When you think about it too, like MVP seasons, other than Brady's, like when they went undefeated, MVPs get losses here and there. Like it just happens. Like
especially against the good team too. The Cardinals are a very, very good football team.
I will give Joe credit where credit is due. He called it. Eventually, the Seahawks are going to lose one of their close games, and this was the night that it happened. That the defense literally couldn't stop anything, and if they are going to have to win the West, the Cardinals are the number 1 team they're going to have to beat right now because the 49ers, they blew out the Patriots, and we'll get into that, but they're significantly behind them. But I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to overtake the Seahawks, but the defense really has to get cleaned up. They need a pass rush because, like Joe said before, Kyler wasn't even hit. He can literally run around all day and he has all day to throw.
Not touched. Jamal Adams leads the team in sacks.
That's sad. And
no, and that's a problem.
Weeks.
I don't know what to tell you. I got nothing for you. Greg Olsen has been a failure. But I don't know if anyone actually thought that was going to be a factor. No,
he just got one more paycheck before the 401k kicked in.
This is more the reason why Russell Wilson, and we saw Dak Prescott before he got injured, deserved to be the MVP conversation too, because these games, like week after week after week, the defense is letting you down. The running game is like Dak Prescott when he was playing, and now Russell Wilson every single week is like having to just do some carry work right here. DK Metcalf, talk about it. The chase down,
freak athlete, just freak athlete,
absolute monster. Insane that he fell that far in the draft. And Tyler Lockett, beautiful, like perfect combination.
All three deep balls Russell Wilson threw to him were just beautifully thrown.
But you're asking Russell Wilson to be in a position last night and several times throughout the season where he can't make a mistake. He just does not have the option, or else the Seahawks lose the game. And last night was the first night where he made the mistakes, and it didn't happen. It's okay, but Jamal Adams or not, this team, I'll pull up the numbers here, 425 yards a game.
Well, the problem is that they have no pass rusher. And, people are like, oh, they let Clowney go. Well, Clowney still hasn't gotten a sack in Tennessee. So really, that's just what's the difference at that point?
Clowney's overrated. He had one good play in college that got him drafted.
I completely agree. But the problem is they let Frank Clark go because they didn't want to pay him. Fine, whatever. But you should bring back a pass rusher because this has been their problem. They don't have that pass rush up front.
I'm sorry. I clicked on the wrong thing. 479 yards a game they're giving up. That's the worst in the league. They're by actually a good margin. These are legitimate concerns. Yes, they have been winning games, but it's like it's concerning to say the very least.
Jesse, what do you got on this game? We haven't heard from you
yet.
I
think everybody's overreacting way too much. Look, Russell Wilson, they finally lost a close game. Cool. It took Russell Wilson to have his worst game. He threw 3 interceptions, and one of them was a really bad one, and he doesn't do that. Also, Chris Carson got hurt in the first half. That's their number 1 running back. Jamal Adams still didn't play. Budda Baker makes a great play, and DK Metcalf makes a great play to stop them from getting points on that. But, I don't see it as it's not that big of a problem because
the defense
I guarantee the Seahawks are going to make a move at the deadline. They're also playing without their best defensive player. Also, they were undefeated going into this game. They can afford to drop one to a division rival. The ceiling is not falling in Seattle.
No, I agree, but
they're falling. But there's some room for concern.
But with
you
this
have
game,
to admit 400, giving up almost 500 yards a game.
But also guess what? That's what the Cardinals brought in Cliff Kingsbury to do.
Well, I agree.
The Cardinals played a better game than the Seahawks this week, but are they the better team throughout when they're going to play again? I don't think so.
The biggest takeaway for me from this game is that the Cardinals exposed the glaring problems with the Seahawks, which is getting pressure up front and being able to get the quarterback. It's as simple as that.
The Vikings played outstanding. They played a great game. The Cowboys played a really solid game against them. The Patriots, they almost won. It's like they have not given, look at the let's see, 37 points to the Cardinals, 31 points to the Cowboys, 30 points to the Patriots. It's not great, at least.
Yeah, the defense isn't fantastic, but also, again, Jamal Adams is not playing. They are probably going to get somebody at the deadline. I would bet they're going to. And also, how easy is it to get pressure and sack Kyler Murray? He's probably the most elusive quarterback in the league right now. So I also think Pete Carroll's idea last night, and it failed, was don't worry about the pass rush on Kyler. We're going to drop more into coverage. We're not going to blitz. We're going to try to beat them with our secondary. It didn't work. I give him credit for trying it. That probably helps more when Jamal Adams is back. The Cardinals also are a good team. I've been saying that since before the year started. I said the Cardinals could make the playoffs, and they were my pick over the 49ers in the division. Clark was there too.
Yeah, I was there too. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the Cardinals are by no means a bad team whatsoever, and the Seahawks are by no means a bad team. They do need to tighten it up on defense, but I think progressively as we see them get closer to the playoffs, I guarantee this defense is going to be more tightened up than you see from last night. And my original point, Wilson threw 3 picks. When's he going to do that again? I don't know if he'll ever do it again in his entire career, a 3-interception game. So
it basically took him having a Kirk
see.
Cousins style game for the Cardinals to win and overtime, but that's here nor there. So let's move things along, and it's my turn to pick. And I'm going with a game that was basically the marquee matchup of the 1 o'clock window. Really should have been in the 4 o'clock window, if we're being quite honest. And that is the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Tennessee Titans, battle of the unbeatens. Basically, this game had major implications for the 1 seed potentially in the AFC, since only one team gets a bye. Steelers came out winning by 3 points, and when the Steelers are right and they're all clicking on all cylinders, they are far and away the best team in the AFC, even better than the Chiefs, quite frankly, at all facets of the ball.
I mean, it's close. I'm not going to say far and away better than the Chiefs. That's quite a statement.
The Chiefs are also coasting right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, really,
Chiefs are just coasting.
Mahomes hasn't really done anything
LeBron
in, like,
in the regular season. Yeah. They're coasting. They don't care.
Yeah, Mahomes has not exerted an ounce of energy since September. So
that's fantastic.
I mean, for let's say 3 quarters and 5 minutes, the Steelers absolutely looked like a Super Bowl contender. But yikes! I mean, what a win! First of all, outplayed Tennessee, who looked good coming in, but I don't what happened at the end there. It got pretty dicey really quickly, and Ben became 2018 Ben, before our very eyes.
A week I pick him up, I trade for him in fantasy. He does that garbage. but no, Steelers looked good though. You're right; they weren't too hot in the 4th quarter, but overall, great team win. They're lucky that Gostowski sucks now and missed that and didn't let that go into overtime, but. They're just their defense. They're everything's just clicking for this team. It really is. It's having Ben back, the leadership of Ben. You don't have to deal with Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges anymore, and you have all these young, charismatic, exciting, fun players on defense too. It's a fun time to be Jesse Norman and a fun time to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan right now. It really is.
The Titans can't do that. Remember, so far as this January, when everything was nice and normal again. If we all can remember how the Titans won, is they scored quick touchdowns and then they just fed Derrick Henry till the very end, and that was their formula, and that's how they did it. What did they do on Sunday? They allowed the Steelers to bludgeon them early and take away literally their entire recipe for success.
Yeah, and
they're not going to win like that.
No, and another thing with these 2 teams right here too is both of these coaches are also really good. I brought up the coaching matchup in the last one, but we know what Tomlin's all about. Tomlin's a top 5, top 3 coach in the league. But Mike Vrabel, very underrated coach. He does not get enough credit for what he does with this team. I really like, huh?
He's a football guy.
Football guy, he learned under the best, so he's a football guy.
After last season, I've learned not to criticize Mike Vrabel, because when I called him the stupidest coach in the NFL on live radio, he took his team to the AFC Championship game. So therefore, I will never criticize Mike Vrabel ever again.
Beat a dynasty, beat a 14-2 Ravens team. I mean, it's idiot.
But no, good for the Steelers pulling out the win. They hung on. I don't know how, but they hung on. That's all I got.
Yeah, they Yeah, no, I was happy with the way the Steelers looked for a majority of the game. Some things need to be buttoned up towards the end there, but that's what you get with a Mike Tomlin team. They come out emotional in the first half. They kind of dip off in the second half when they have big leads. As a Steelers fan, I've seen that throughout the years. But they won this game, and they're now the last undefeated team in the NFL. So, I mean, what more can you really want?
Exactly.
The defense is fantastic. I also think they're in position to make a move at the trade deadline. I think they'll probably trade for a linebacker to try to fill in for Devin Bush. The offense looks good. Deontay Johnson got hurt again, but looked fantastic when he was playing. Claypool is going to be a very good receiver in the league for 12 plus years, and Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be there with him. So this team is set up very nicely. And the defense in its entirety too is also young. They have the best formula in the NFL right now, especially when Ben's not making mistakes. When Ben's making mistakes, it muddies the water a little bit. But when Ben is not throwing interceptions, they have the ability to just completely shut out a team and just bury them with Connor and bury them under their offensive line and using that front seven on the defense.
I really do. I loved the Steelers last year. I was very intrigued by them. And then this year they look great. I'm going to just say they're playing Baltimore next week. We'll have the conversation then whether I'm going to crown them as the best team in the AFC. That's the test. That's the test. If they win or they play a solid game, then yeah, I mean, we're put them right above the Chiefs, right there with the Chiefs. I'm so looking forward to that game. I like anticipating.
I completely, fully believe the Steelers are going to come out terrible against the Ravens because they're going to do what Bill Belichick used to do of, we're going to let you throw absolutely everything you have at us to prove you're better than us. We're going to write it all down. We're going to analyze it for the rest of the season. And then when the playoffs come, because we know the Steelers and Ravens are going to meet in the playoffs, that's when they actually play against them. Patriots did it all the time. And I truly do think that's what the Steelers are going to do.
But it's like, I mean, this could potentially decide a division. Like, these are the games that hopefully are the difference between playing at home and getting a bye week and not. I mean, this is a really going to be a huge game.
Yeah, no, it absolutely very well could be. But with that, so let's move things along. Clark, you're up. Where do you want to go?
All right. In honor of our newest member of the Department podcast, this game has no right to be this early, but let's get to it. How about them Cowboys, baby? How about them Cowboys? Like Stephen A. Smith said, they lost to a team that doesn't have a name. Wow. They just got mauled by the Washington footballers over there down in Washington. Kyle Allen had a phenomenal game against this depleted Dallas defense that is just garbage. I think like my Pop Warner team back in 2007 or whatever could have played better defense than them against the Washington football team.
You had Minkah Fitzpatrick, so you could.
Exactly. So we were set. But Andy Dalton goes down. Doesn't matter. Ben DiNucci comes in. Who? Just something a random dude who works at a pizza parlor.
First throw.
Huh?
I said his first throw was a dot.
That was it. You know,
and
okay.
That was it.
I told Clark I told Clark this joke last night, but basically the winner of the NFC East at this point is basically like being the valedictorian of summer school. Like
Justin makes the funnies.
Like it's like congrats, but look at your competition. But
yeah.
You know, good job for Washington. A dirty hit took Andy Dalton out of this game and basically just took the complete air out of the Cowboys.
They were already down.
No, they absolutely were. And
they were already.
Yeah, this game just proves once again how much Dak Prescott means to the Dallas football Cowboys.
And also just how much of a bad coach Mike McCarthy is also, because you're not even competitive at this point. You got Andy Dalton screaming at his offensive line. The next play he gets taken out basically. So there goes that. The defense can't stop a nosebleed.
They got more leaks coming out of that, like that private,
it's
that like that locker room than the Nixon administration. Like it's insane.
The defensive coordinator got like Frank's red hot sauce in his eye earlier today during the press conference. They're just
a disaster. It's a disaster. And as good as I mean, as good as the football team is going to look, like they played pretty well. I mean, it's like they scored 25 points, and I'm going to give credit here because Ron Rivera, the at least partially the architect of Christian McCaffrey has found another McCaffrey in Antonio Gibson. Fantasy stud, picked him up as a sleeper. Outstanding performance on Sunday. He's playing.
Hated that guy for like 4 weeks.
Yeah, because they weren't. Hated the coaching staff. Because they came out. They were talking to training camp. They were like, he's going to be RB1. He's going to get him, and then they didn't play him. But now he's into the fold. He's mature. I love him.
And I guess like another good thing for Washington is their D line still looks good. Chase Young, very good. So
it's not a bad.
Nice.
There's pieces,
but
there's
just not much to talk about here.
If Dallas is serious about saving their season, as far as I'm concerned, they have to sign like Colin Kaepernick, or they have to like trade for Gardner Minshew or something. If they're serious about saving their season, you can't keep rolling out Dalton and
here's the thing, Jerry's getting to his 80s, and I don't think Jerry would be alive for another rebuild.
Good.
You know?
I don't like Jerry Jones.
Neither do I, but he might go all in. And because that's why I don't think McCarthy will get fired, even if it's literally complete and utter mutiny.
Well, they had a slumber party. I mean, those bonds.
They need to. McCarthy needs to fire all of his friends from the coaching staff from the Green Bay days. It didn't work. It's not working now. Just get rid of them.
They got Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator. He's going to be the next everything except keep the same offense in place.
He'll be the next coach at this rate.
But
I truly think they will do that.
Jerry Jones loves his former backup quarterbacks to be head coaches. Jason Garrett and now Kellen Moore.
Oh.
This was probably the most pathetic, considering opponent, like expectation before the season, and then just visibly, like you could look at the numbers on paper, just like watching it was the most pathetic thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
It was sad.
I don't remember seeing the Cowboys like on Red Zone once. Like I don't. I watched Red Zone the whole day, and I don't remember seeing like Washington was obviously on there.
We saw the Dalton hit. I think they showed us the Dalton hit. And then they go like a 4
Dalton hit. They definitely showed the Dalton hit.
And you just knew, like I couldn't even picture them getting the ball to Amari Cooper yesterday. And they were playing against the Washington football team. And I'm just trying to pick, okay, maybe just a 15-yard little something to CD.
A screen pass.
Or to Gallup.
Nothing.
I couldn't even picture it, let alone it actually happening. Like, it wasn't even a thought, like, that they could even do that. They can't generate anything.
The Washington football team turned into, like, the 86 Bears.
What happened to Zeke Elliott? I mean, we're talking about this game for way too long.
I've been saying this since the beginning of the year. Paying Zeke was so dumb, and it looks even more dumb now because like the whole thought process before was, oh, Dak does really good when everything's breaking his way, and the run game is really good. The run game has been so bad.
Hey, whoa, wait.
Like, whoa.
Sometimes they get Tony Pollard.
I mean, Dak on a broken ankle or Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Yes, Pollard quite literally does look better than Zeke.
He has more of a burst than Zeke. I don't know if it's because like the design runs are just better. I don't know if the offensive line just doesn't like Zeke. I don't know.
I think Zeke's already wearing down.
Yeah.
They relied on him to go 13. Like when they were 13-3, he was...
Yeah. His usage rate was through the roof, like when he first got there. But that's here nor there.
Look at DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, no, he broke down immediately in Philadelphia.
He broke down immediately.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's move things along because that's enough Cowboy talk. Jesse, last pick in the first round. Where do you want to go?
Last pick in first round. All right.
A great game still.
I mean, I picked it before, so I'm going to pick it again because it's just funny. Lions Falcons. I mean, come on. Like how like you were in position, you were set up, and then like Todd Gurley was just running too fast. Like he didn't know.
I've never heard that
within the 10-yard line, like he couldn't stop himself.
No, what happened was
Bradshaw on the Super Bowl.
It's like the momentum in Madden.
They parted the sea for
him. It's like the
him.
momentum in Madden when like.
Well, because you know what happened? He saw the end zone and he saw his next contract, so he's like, I gotta pad my stats, and then.
And then he
Next thing you know,
And then he fell.
I love the Lions players
Man.
putting up the
yeah,
touchdown
they were
sign.
celebrating because even if they
Yeah.
came up short, they were getting a shot to realistically win the
Yeah,
game.
no, yeah.
And
It's,
the second Gurley went in, you have to admit you had the sinking feeling that the Lions were going to win this game then some way. No timeouts, under a minute.
I
They're
knew they
winning.
were going to win. The second Gurley went in, I was like, Stafford's got it. If there's one thing I trust Matthew Stafford with, it's throwing a touchdown with 0 seconds left on the clock. He's done it like 3 times in his career now. Like, it's insane.
yeah.
If there's one, if you
One
tell
a
me
year.
I have one play with like 1 second left on the clock and I'm like within like red zone, and they're like, "Are you taking Mahomes, Rodgers, Wilson?" I'm like, "Give me Stafford."
He's
Give me
firing
Matt
in there.
Stafford on
Montana, Marino, nope, Matt Stafford.
How honestly,
Nope, give me Matt Stafford.
TJ Hawkinson to get open there was very impressive.
He's
It
very
was.
good. He's good. He's having a good sophomore
Hawkinson
season.
is yes, and that's the thing with tight ends. They don't have great rookie years, but
'Cause, like,
he has
though-
been fantastic.
'cause the
for them.
offense-
Waiting on Evan Ingram for that one.
Oh, that's a game to talk about.
But
soon,
this
probably.
is just another pain. Like, I feel bad for Atlanta sports fans at this rate, but it's just comical.
Yeah,
I told
just the-
Justin this.
Just the
They're
mental
the
relapse.
anti-Seahawks. They're the anti-Seahawks. It's like Seahawks just win, like they just win these games. These are games that the
They just lose.
Falcons exclusively lose.
It's so funny because the Falcons were supposed to be like at one point, I remember in like 2017, they were calling themselves like Seattle Southeast
Yeah,
because they had like Dan Quinn and they were convinced Keanu Neal was
image.
Cam Chancellor,
that's
and Desmond Trufant
been-
was Richard Sherman.
it's been all downhill since the Super Bowl. It really has been.
Yeah.
Ever since that, it's just they just can't close out games. It looks
Worse
like
and
Aroldis
worse.
Chapman in the
Worse and
playoffs.
worse.
and it's not like their offense is lacking at all. Matt Ryan's been playing phenomenal football, like every single week.
It's the defense. It's just
Straight
the
up.
defense.
No, it's
And
the
they
Story
have-
of their life.
I would say maybe the best wide receiver duo in the league too. Maybe
Up there,
the best.
definitely top,
Yeah,
like
definitely
one of the
We can
players
have
up
that-
there.
with
we
up
can
there
have
with
the
DK
debate.
and
Not
With
now,
DK and
but-
Lockett, yeah, that's very very hard.
But
to
they're still two dynamic playmakers. And how do you even just stop giving either of them the ball and just not even keep the pressure on? Like, why is it that the minute they're like me and Madden, the minute I go up and touch them, like, these kids suck, we're gonna win, and then we lose by 15 and we're quitting in the third quarter. That's basically what the Falcons do.
That.
I like Jones and Galladay, and I also like Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen better.
Okay,
Still,
respectable.
They're
Respect.
still
great.
yeah,
Still two talented
exactly.
receivers. That
Besides
how do you
great.
just not get them the ball to just eat up clock?
Julio probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, of the modern era. And then Calvin
yeah.
Ridley, a prodigy, basically in the making. So,
Prodigy, roll tide.
oh,
I mean, Todd Gurley's not the problem. The guy scored a touchdown yesterday.
It's
No.
For Falcons lost bingos. Like, this had to be like the last one you could think of that they scored too fast, and then the Lions marched down the field. I
Who's
just don't
taking
get-
this cursed, doomed job next year? Oh,
Bill
man.
O'Brien.
Funny.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, and also the Lions. I mean, Falcons burying the Lions are 3-3 now.
They've
It's-
played
it's
competitive games in
something.
all their games. Like, they
Pretty
haven't
legit.
been absolutely. I still think Patricia should go. I think they need a kind of
I
a
hate
revamp.
Patricia.
But yeah, Stafford's still competitive. Like, he's not playing his way out of there, like as if he wants to force his way out. Like, he's still giving it his all.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
Stafford.
yeah.
If Stafford somehow hit like the trade market or free agency, every team should jump at him.
They just
I
need
mean,
they need to decide on a running game at this point.
Just pick any running back. It's
They're-
a
they're-
flavor.
Pick one and
babe.
stick with
The-
it.
The
yeah.
That's what I
Lions,
said. Yeah, we
the
talked about-
Lions have the flavor of the week with a running back, with what Carson Wentz has a flavor of the week with a wide receiver. It's just a
It's not
different
Adrian
run.
Peterson, though. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not.
Shouldn't be.
They've been going to him though too much.
Kenny Galladay's a dog, bro. It's so underrated.
That's
So,
true.
so is Jones.
underrated.
Yeah.
But with that, let's close out the first pick of the second round with Joe for the last pick of this half of the podcast. That's a lot of things. Joe, just pick your game. Where do you want to go?
All right. I'm gonna pick my game. I mean, I don't even know if I was alive the last time this happened, but I mean, it's worth mentioning. It's crazy because they're, a terrible team, but the 49ers won 33-6 in New England of all teams. And I mean, yeah, COVID, Cam Newton was really just not
Really
Cam-like at all. Sloppy game. But this, I mean, it was nice. It was a good solid team game. And those are the 49ers that I thought we were going to see before the season. Kyle Shanahan did it. I mean, he does his thing, and I'm happy.
On the flip side of the ball, though, for the Patriots, they have absolutely no talent. And no speed either is the problem. Just they have no one to create separation. Rex Burkhead is your running back. Well, Julian Edelman's receiver. It's like no one gets open. Cam's on the at this stage of his career, he's not consistent week in, week out. And if it's going to be all right, well, Cam gets blown out in 3 quarters. Throw in Stidham. It's like, why bother at that
fake
point?
rookies they brought in, like N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers, are just nothing.
N'Keal Harry is not good.
They were like, "Hey Tom, look, rookies," and he was like,
"No."
Yeah, the Patriots can't draft receivers. Like they can't.
Can they draft any talent? Can they draft talent on offense?
No, usually it's undrafted people they just sign.
Yeah.
I'm not calling this the end of the Belichick era. Like in New England, like he's going to be there for as long as he wants.
Yeah, don't write them off.
Yeah. But it's just Bill punted on this game too. If we're being honest,
I think Bill went in and was like, "There's no way possible that we beat this team, so might as well just send it in. We might as well just not use any of our good stuff against them because there's no way we win. Also, this is an AFC NFC game, so it doesn't matter at all for seeding.
And then I love it when they asked him, they're like, why'd you put Stidham? It's like, just get him some reps. It's like, okay, all right, fine, whatever. But
lethal, like a running attack that's different than what else we're seeing in the league for the 49ers. I mean, now it's Jeff Wilson Jr. It's insane how any running back they bring in, develop, put out there, just eats.
And I feel bad for Jeff Wilson Jr. now too, because it looks like he's going to be out a couple weeks.
Yeah,
he got re-injured again, even though we've had a phenomenal game.
Isn't that what the 49ers running backs do? They have a great game, get hurt.
Where's Tevin Coleman at? Is he hurt too? Probably.
Yeah,
he's hurt. Mostert, I believe.
Is Jerick McKinnon still there?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
I think he was resting. Actually, last game or 2 games ago, he was resting.
It would have been an army of 8 guys that they're just gonna circle back.
Yeah.
He had 3 carries for -1 yards, and his longest run was 1 yard.
Nice. Good stuff.
Great stats.
Well, that
analytics.
Yeah. Nerd stats. Any last thoughts on the Patriots? Worst loss in the Belichick era, though.
I'm glad Patriots fans are feeling pain during the regular season.
I'm sure they're wiping their tears with the 6 rings, just fine. But
ow, that might scratch up your face a little bit.
But this is for Patriot fans our age. This is the first time that they're seeing the crap the rest of the league has to deal with.
Yep,
and also the crap that the Patriots were before Tom Brady.
Well, they weren't Patriot fans before then, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Glad we're not eulogizing the 49ers, Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans coming up. We might have a eulogy. or we're going to be talking about how I was right and the 49ers are a legitimate threat in the West. And we're going to see, but it was a convincing win, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
Good job.
Okay.
Well, with that, we're going to hit the break, and when we come back, we'll break down the rest of Week 7 here on the Department Podcast. Welcome back to the rest of the Week 7 recap here on the Department Podcast with Justin Valentovic, Stephen Clark, Joe Paolantonio, and Jesse Norman. I left off, so it's my turn to pick, and I want to go to the Battle of Ohio. Cleveland Browns winning 37-34, and I feel like we've said this week in and week out, especially because I'm starting to get to the Burrow side of things a little bit, and that's... God, I feel so bad for him. Him and Justin Herbert, they must text each other on the side because each of them should have 3-4 wins respectively, but their teams, their defense just can't help them at all.
I don't know whose O-line is worse, honestly.
Cincinnati by far.
They're both bad though. They're both very
See, at least
bad.
with Herbert, he's a little more mobile. He can defend himself a little bit more than Burrow.
Yeah.
Burrow gets any sort of pressure, he's dead in the pocket. But with that being said, he had an absolute amazing game. 440 plus yards, I think it was, or 404,
over
something like
400.
that.
It was over 400.
4 touchdown passes. He's living up to the number one overall hype, which is great. But he's going to get killed this season. He needs a defense. This is very early of the luck era in Indianapolis. If we're being honest, no defense, no offensive line, and he has to throw himself into games. But on the flip side of things, Baker Mayfield and the Browns, the offense keeps clicking at this point. They lose Odell because he got hurt on trying to tackle, and fix Baker's mistake. They lost, they didn't have Austin Hooper because he has appendicitis, but Harrison Bryant looks just as good of a tight end. He was a monster for them. And David Njoku probably caught his last touchdown pass with the Browns if he gets traded by the deadline at some point. But both offenses looked really good, but the Browns, they needed this win more than anything to keep them alive in the North. But all around, impressive game for these two teams, because usually we've seen this and it's like 7-12, 7-50, like a bad game, but offenses, they freaking went off.
Both games they've played, it's been like absolute shootouts, which is insane. If I'm Joe Burrow, I'm going up to Jonah Williams, that the prince who was promised, and just like, hey, you want to play at some point? Like, when are we going to see him? I mean, this guy was like a highly touted draft prospect, and like it's nothing. Injury concerns, man. Speaking of injury concerns, a special place in my heart is held for Odell Beckham Jr. Just seeing firsthand what he was able to do for that Giants team, and he's very misunderstood because he really wore himself down, trying to be really the only semblance of life on a Giants offense for like years. He really wore himself down.
Did he tear his ACL with the Giants? Or no, he blew out his Achilles, right?
Yeah, it was an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
So this is absolutely devastating. And it's like, I get the criticism of Odell. He's a little flashy off the field, but he has never not been a team guy. Like, he leaves it all out there. He's and has not been a bad teammate in New York, and he was not a bad teammate in Cleveland. I'm an Odell apologist. I'm an Odell shill. I'll admit it. I think that he could have been one of the best receivers of all time.
Joe,
And this,
I 100% agree with you. He gets too much hate for like a little outbreak he had in New York. And the New York media, I was talking about my friend from Old Bridge over here. The New York media was out to get him in New York too. It wasn't fair to him, and he's a winner.
Well, and the problem is
he's
became
competitive.
He became basically, the bullet sponge, because that's when Eli was on his way out, and no one in New York wanted to criticize Eli, so they wanted to throw it to who wasn't their golden boy because he wasn't there for the Super Bowls, because he was like 12 when they were winning those.
Yeah,
and that's why he got basically the bulk of the brunt of all the crap in New York.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when you turn on the Mike Francesa show, and with Eli, it's like North Korea. Like nothing, no criticism, everything. Like the Eli Manning is the king. Odell Beckham. I mean, you're talking about a guy. The Giants. Last time the Giants made the playoffs, they won 11 games, and I can think off the top of my head, 4 of those wins were solely, at least on the offensive side of the ball, because of Odell Beckham. Like, it's rare that a wide receiver like is responsible for one win, like just solely. The guy, when he's healthy, is such a game changer. We saw it again in the Dallas game this year, what he was able to do.
He won that game for him. He was always a Dallas killer.
For him. Yeah, always a Dallas killer. I loved him. I loved it. It's sad. But Jesse says this about Kirk Cousins all the time, and I'm sure he's probably said it about Baker Mayfield too. It's a bad team. It's a bad team. Baker Mayfield will sucker punch bad teams in the throat and make everyone think that he's a tremendous talent that deserved to go number 1 overall, and that was what this game was. That's it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like 30% of like Baker's wins come against the Bengals, so he knows how to beat the Bengals. My big takeaway from this was, and I said this before the first time they played, There's not a person who can look me in the face and say that Baker Mayfield is not the fourth best quarterback in that division. I mean, it's so clear already. Burrow's a rookie, playing his 7th game in the NFL, and I would take him over Baker Mayfield right now.
It depends honestly where you put Rudolph.
No, okay. Baker's better than Rudolph. Where do you put RG3? That's the real question.
Right below Baker, just a smidge.
Probably, yeah. No, Baker's he had a great game, but
against a non-existent
defense.
Because we saw, and you look at both quarterbacks, albeit, Baker went up against the Steelers, got absolutely shellacked. Burrow went up against the Ravens, got absolutely murked also. But, that's what happens when they have to play legitimate defenses. They get slapped around. And that's going to continue to happen.
Well, and Cleveland does have the much better line than
by far
than Cincy. Yeah. Cincy has just no semblance.
They need the first 3 picks need to be a left tackle Cincinnati. And like 2 tackles, a center, and just get it. They need to get that kid from Oregon, whatever.
They need everything. They need to sign some guys. They need.
Don't even worry about the defense in the draft.
Overhaul the offensive line.
Don't even worry about the defense. Just get 5 offensive linemen. Like Clark, you're a former offensive lineman. Maybe you can play guard. And with that, your draft pick is up, though.
Oh, my draft pick now. All right. Joe talked about his shill being Odell Beckham Jr., so I'm going to talk about my shill and Thomas Edward Patrick.
Oh, I was about to say the Colts had a bye week, so we weren't going there.
No. Can't go there. I'm talking about my boy Thomas Edward Patrick.
I was about to say we already talked about Minka.
Yeah, no, my boy. What a phenomenal showing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against a really competitive. I see Joe yawning over there. That's okay. It's okay. You can yawn. You can take this one off if you want, but I'll continue to talk. Tom Brady and the Bucs, phenomenal game against the Raiders. We were talking about the Raiders, how they're competing in their division as well, and the Bucs just put them to sleep. Tom Brady looked like 2007 Tom Brady with 4 touchdowns and a bunch of other great stats. He doesn't even need his top receivers. He's throwing dots in the back of the end zone to Scotty Miller. And the run game, too, was on point for a little bit. They're spreading the wealth, which we expected with this team. It works.
It's also working because he has the most offensive firepower he has ever had in his career on this team.
Yeah, but he's not using his top receivers.
And he's got another weapon coming potentially in the next coming
That's
weeks.
The scary part.
With Antonio Brown signing basically a half a season contract with him.
Yeah.
So that's looming. But no, Tom Brady looked good. The Raiders, their defense, easily one of the worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's really bad. They don't have Jonathan Abram, but whatever.
It's bad, but back to the receiving thing, he wasn't even throwing it to Mike Evans, his number 1 receiver.
They must hate each other, honestly.
Mike
Evans
they have no
chemistry.
Jesus. You're inventing blood feuds.
Yeah, right? Instead, he throws it to a 5'4" Scotty Miller instead for 9 targets, I believe. 9 or 10 targets he threw it to. Definitely a touchdown there.
Get Scotty it now, because he's not going to be playing very much when Antoine comes up.
Well, Antoine better be a team player. Otherwise, Bruce Arians said he's out of there, but...
They also said they weren't getting Antonio Brown, so that was a lie.
Yeah, how crazy is this? I mean, Tom Brady completely, because he criticized Bruce Arians' hat. Like, out of all things, he was mean to Bruce Arians about his hat, and now Bruce just brings him on in. That's the Brady effect. It's cool. Game. This was the best game Brady's played since
2 years.
It's been at least 2.
Yeah.
But Brady looks like he's having fun. He's enjoying it. He likes the Bruce Arians system. He's, not afraid to push it downfield, because we saw in New England, he was always, checking it down to his slot guy or his tight end or whatever. And Gronk's actually catching passes again.
Yeah, that's...
Gronk is finally back in football shape. When you take time off, smoking weed, doing whatever the hell you're doing outside of football.
Wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling. Yeah, that. There you go. Nice elbow there, Joe. You're not in football shape. There's a big difference between football shape and actually being fit in shape. Yes, Joseph.
I have a question for you.
For me?
Now, I think we all agree that this is nice, that this was a great performance. Do you think that Tom Brady will be able to do this in, December and potentially January? Like, is it going to hold up?
Not
like
to the extent,
this level.
Not the over 300 yards and all that stuff and 4 touchdowns, maybe 2 touchdowns a game, not 4, but he'll still be.
He has the weapons to hold up, is the thing.
He'll still
And
be pretty
you see him shaking hands with Derek Carr after the game, and you see him last week shaking hands with Aaron Rodgers. But after they lost to the Bears, COVID protocol, can't shake hands, ran off the field. This guy gets
doesn't
way
like
too
Nick
much.
Foles.
Oh
That's
man, what
it
Nick
is.
does to him. This
Yeah.
guy's
Yeah.
not nearly the great sport that he's painted up to be. I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
Jesse,
I agree
anything?
with that. Is their team more weird and a quarterback more weird than the Raiders and Derek Carr? Like, are they good? Are they bad? Like I guess like the Bills, but we kind of all know the Bills are imposters. But like
Yeah.
the Raiders, like just every week you don't actually know what you're gonna get. It's like, oh, is Derek Carr gonna throw for 400 yards, or is he gonna throw for like 150? We'll
it's
see.
It's like Gruden. What are you drawing up this week? And it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I did the old Disney Channel show Life with Derek, but I put John Gruden's face on the girl and Derek Carr's face on the
It's
guy
like
because it's like a sitcom. It's
they'll
like
have-
Sitcom.
you
and it's
never
like-
know what could happen.
It's like they have a
that
great
Derek-
running. They have a great running back in Josh Gibbs. It's like, all right, we're gonna give him 20 carries. He'll get 3 touchdowns. Cool. Next week, all right, Derek, I want you to air it out completely. Fuck the running back. Okay.
literally, no.
Especially when
like,
you have good running
the running back.
too.
I was like, these Jones beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's like what?
Yeah, right.
The Raiders, they're just a bizarre team. I don't know.
The Saints, right?
It's okay. We're in year what? 3 Gruden, so we have 7 more years at least.
No,
of
2.
We're in only year 2. Oh dear God.
Yeah, we're only in year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started
Antonio Brown, yeah.
because he took over my junior year, and that's when I criticized him for the teardown. Yeah, no, this is year 2.
Everybody was so mad at Gruden for the teardown. I love
It's worked. No, it's worked. Like they're hitting
I
on the
like it
draft
too.
picks, but it's just like, can the draft picks be consistent week in and week out so we know what we're gonna get with this team? Like that's
It's not like the Bears have, took Khalil Mack and ran with him.
yeah, I know. Khalil Mack had like his one good game with the Packers, his first game, and it's just kind of like, okay, Khalil Mack.
We're watching them get dogged by the Rams.
Yeah, they're getting
Jared
slapped around
Goff
by the
really
Rams.
isn't even looking.
So with that, I think Jesse, you're up.
Ooh. All right, I'm gonna take the one that I told everybody to bet. I said Packers -3. Lock it in immediately.
That
I
was
put
the lock?
$50 on it. I won.
Who,
It was
who-
Packers -3. That was the line.
was
Yes.
Vegas okay?
Yeah. I guess they thought like because it was in Houston, maybe they
That doesn't
you
matter.
know, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, no. Come on, it's Aaron Rodgers off a loss, and they
Yeah.
played a bad team and a bad defense. What else is there to say? Deshaun Watson's great. He tried to lead somewhat of a comeback towards the end. The Packers just sat Aaron Jones. They didn't even need to. He was
That's crazy.
on my fantasy team. He was starting in both my leagues. I won both, so it didn't matter in the end.
I did.
But
No Bakhtiari
they
either.
scratched him
Yeah.
at about
They just took
at
like
12:58. They were like, Jones isn't
No
playing.
way, really.
they
It
did
was
it
that
like
late?
Yeah, like they scratched him so it was so late, I swear.
you know how
I
like you'll
checked it
see
like
like
12:45 and the update was like expect Aaron Jones to play. And then they were just like, nah, we don't need him.
it looked
We'll
like
just throw to Devontae Adam 18 times.
you know like how in baseball how it would be like a Sunday after a night game, so like half the lineup is just taking a day off.
Yeah.
That's literally
Yeah.
what this game was for the Packers. It's like okay,
and they still just rolled them. Because
Yeah, I mean-
all they needed was Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and a backup running back. And it was over in the first half.
did you see how defeated JJ Watt was in his post game press conference? It's like what they do. Like what they do. They're like they threw better, they ran better, they blocked better. They're just a good team.
Their defense is better.
I feel
the Packers are
Yeah.
so good. I mean, I call last week an anomaly. Rodgers quit out, but this is like how when Mariano Rivera was on the mound and you knew he was going to throw a cutter, but you couldn't hit it. It's like, the Warriors are going to kill you to death with threes, and there's nothing you could do about it back in the day. It's like they're going to throw the ball to Devontae Adams, and there's just nothing you're going to do.
you just
about
got to take it.
Yeah, like just accept that it's going to be Devontae Adams that beats you in the passing game, and try to live with it. Just try, but that's it.
Yeah, no, the Packers look good. Texans are a complete mess. I wouldn't be surprised if they move JJ Watt in the next few years because I don't think he wants to sit through another rebuild.
Problem's going to be, I think they're going to want way too much for Watt.
Oh, they're gonna value like the
Join his
face of
brothers.
the face of the franchise. That's the only place I see him ever going.
Me too.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Or like
Maybe the
Chargers or
Patriots
something.
if they get good.
Green
Again.
Bay if he wanted to go home. Like honestly, either maybe Green Bay or Pittsburgh are the only two options I could see him leaving because he's Mr. Houston if we're being
He's
honest.
Mr. Houston.
Like-
yeah, he's up there with like James Harden.
He's bigger than James Harden if we're being honest because he's homegrown.
And he like repaired the city after they
Yeah.
got hit with something.
He like prepared the city.
I don't know what he did. He did
So
something.
with that,
He did
Joe,
something.
Europe.
Europe, South America. No.
Just pick.
So I'm gonna
Grumpy man.
all right, this is we talk about great running backs. We're gonna go to it again. New Orleans Saints 27, the Carolina Panthers 24. Alvin and the Chipmunks is what they should name this team, but because that's really it's Alvin and Alvin. Even though Drew Brees did not play very bad, he looked very good. Brady and Brees both
he
had
looks
like little
great throwing the
renaissance.
ball under 5 yards.
They both have little renaissance games. Okay. No Michael Thomas, no Emmanuel Sanders.
Apparently they wanna
hate
trade Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
with
Michael
my whole
Thomas.
heart.
Michael Thomas is out, I think, at this point. Another
Sean Payton was like, no, but
a fake hamstring injury, like okay, and then like he's fighting teammates in practice. It's just wide receivers are just bitchy, like half the time, and it's just I don't know, but I really think
did well. I mean,
he would have played by now. You can't. They're coming up with Jacoby Ellsbury injuries at this point just to not play him.
he sneezed to get him out of there. I'll once again praise Matt Rule in a loss because that's what I do. But I'm gonna praise Matt Rule in a loss. Like they looked, they moved
They're competitive.
They looked competent.
Christian
and that's a
McCaffrey on
step up.
Thursday.
Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
back.
he's back.
Yeah, he's back. No more Mike Davis for him, even though he carried the torch pretty well. Teddy
He-
Bridgewater.
And maybe they'll actually use Mike Davis like not equal to McCaffrey, but
I
maybe
might start
70,
both.
maybe 75-25 just because he showed he can fit that scheme really well and thrive in it. So maybe they don't have to use Christian McCaffrey for 60 offensive snaps a week.
Well,
Like,
I'm glad your first round pick's coming back. 'Cause I don't know when mine's coming back.
I did a
Well-
smoke screen of Joe Mixon. At least I'm not Justin over there. It actually has Joe Mixon.
Hey, he's been good until he got hurt, but that's here nor there. But
Cool, good win.
and I think if they're okay with trading Mike Thomas, I think Drew Brees is on the way out then this year. Like I think that's it.
That's all but confirmed.
Basically confirmed.
Here's what I
Yeah,
like.
no, everybody. This is Breeze's last year. I thought that's like been established. He like wanted to leave
but
already,
But if
and
they're
then
okay,
they were like, nah.
but if they're okay with the teardown, it's gonna happen then. Like Mike Thomas is basically he's waving right now. He's on the airplane.
Good, put him on a team,
I
please.
mean,
This year a
but
bust.
you can't
This year a bust.
trade Thomas because this whole year has been Super Bowl or bust. Because after this, like they are so capped out, like and they don't really have unless Taysom Hill steps in as a top 15 quarterback.
He won't.
They're kind of screwed. I
Yeah.
would say.
But they've been bracing for this for a while. They'll probably bandage their quarterback situation with Winston, so that's whatever. But that's the Saints. They're going all in, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, then Breeze rides off into the sunset. It's as simple as that.
Here's the lasting image I want from this game. Teddy Bridgewater runs out of bounds. The quarterback is on the bench. They got Taysom Hill and Drew Brees sitting there, and Teddy sits in between them and just says hello. That's what football is all about. We can move on to the next game.
All right, and the next game I want to talk about, because Joe, you picked this one, right? So I'm up. Yeah.
Good.
Another rookie quarterback. The LA Chargers with Justin Herbert, who looks phenomenal. And he finally got his first win. I felt like he should have, like I said with Burrow, they should have a lot more wins than just getting their first and second win or whatever it is at this point. They beat the Jaguars, fine, whatever. But Burrow looks better and better every week. Like he looks phenomenal. Like they have some serious talent in LA with him.
He can run too. Yeah,
Can do
didn't
it
you
all.
see that in Oregon?
Didn't see a lot of Oregon.
Did you see too? Herbert broke the Chargers all-time rushing record for a quarterback. It's like congrats. It's like that's like Cam Newton breaking the Patriots record. It's like look who's the quarterback been for 20 years, and then look at the
Exactly.
lasting legacy of Phil Rivers and
Yeah,
Dan Fouts. Basically, like they ain't moving.
they beat the Jags. That's cool.
Yeah, like congrats.
are we done
Hey,
with
Colts
Gardner
couldn't do
Minshew
that.
gone?
You're correct. You're correct.
I think Minshew's getting the axe. I think
Yeah.
because they're in play for the first
Yeah.
overall pick still or a very high pick. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Fields there potentially. I don't think Minshew's back, or if Minshew's back, he's definitely not the guaranteed starter next year. He might have some competition if they bring in, a vet if they decide to do that, which they won't. But it's the Jaguars. They're whatever. They're a mess. But
maybe Fitzmagic's going across the state.
no, I think he likes it in Miami.
Are you sure?
Not right now.
his
He's
heart.
pretty
Not
upset.
right now.
Well,
He
yeah, no, not
broke
right
his
now.
heart.
But
Delivered a tearful goodbye. Like Clark, you were like, Clark's like comes out and it's like Fitzpatrick took
That's
himself.
the report that I was
like-
reading online.
It's like Fitzpatrick handed his uniform to Coach Flores and was like, no.
Yeah, and then the
I don't
next day
deserve
I'm
this.
reading, I'm like, the next like Wednesday or Tuesday I'm reading, no, like he was pissed, and I'm like, oh, hello. Yeah, no, he wasn't happy about that one.
First-hand reporting on the pod.
Herbert's good. Jaguars are bad. That's all I really got for it.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Good
no,
stuff.
the Jaguars are really bad, and it's pretty astounding to watch just like how far this defense has fallen, because their defense is so bad. Like I know we have so many bad defenses in the NFL right now. Like Cincinnati can't stop anybody. Dallas can't stop anybody. The Seahawks have been terrible on defense
Atlanta's
here and
just
there.
never been.
Atlanta can't stop anybody, and then Jacksonville. It's like, how do you even rank the bottom like 10?
This
Like
is
they're
what I was
all
saying.
so bad.
Like, I'm talking about how the Steelers are the only real legitimate, like,
defense. Yeah.
great unit in the league.
Yeah.
No one else.
And
is-
I mean, the Ravens can get there, especially with the Ngakoue trade.
yeah.
Colts
But like,
were there.
the only one that's playing with it, like it right now, is Pittsburgh. Yeah.
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 I can't remember a time that just like there were just so many just bad defense. The Cardinals don't
Well,
really have
there's
that
all-
good of
there-
a defense.
Well, there's
Like,
also just how many bad teams are there in the NFL right now?
yeah.
Are
Oh
there
my
like
God, I didn't
17
even mention the Jets. What's wrong with me? The
Well-
Jets too.
Well, they're coming up soon. We only got 3 games left. So Clark,
They're not coming up now. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. Leave me with nothing here. Let's go to Thursday Night Football, I guess. It had to be done. I'm so sorry, Joseph. It had to be done sooner or later. It's later though, so it's getting done now. Yikes! That was
painful.
football. That was football on Thursday night. What
A
else?
Falcons level choke.
Literally, Giants were rolling for the most part. They were chilling. Eagles are a football team. I have no words when we get
Are
this.
they gonna win the East by default?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
they
not
are.
they're not a good football team.
if the Giants somehow step it up, maybe, and don't
I
decide.
think I think the
middle of
only team
field.
that can catch them is Washington.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What has the season devolved into in the East?
No, they
now?
are.
I'm telling
they
you,
are
drop-
taking
They
the
have to
ball.
Drop
redo
the
these divisions.
East.
They really do.
Is it?
Why is Dallas in the NFC East?
They should be
Dallas
the
is
South.
in Texas. Like what?
Literally all the
They
way
just-
down south.
They just wanted to-
Carolina is NFC South, not East South.
That's the
But
same with the
Dallas.
Colts.
The Saints,
South and
But
West North.
Dallas.
How the Colts not in the
is-
North?
The Saints.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Saints. Well, the Saints are in the South.
No, they should be in the East. They could be.
they could be.
Carolina
It's
is even closer to the East. Like it's right there.
It's
So the Jaguars and the Dolphins both play in the same state.
yeah.
The South and one's the East.
East.
It's
And then the Texans and the Cowboys play in the same state. And what's the South and what's the East?
Football's weird, but so are both of these teams, and the Giants and the Eagles. I just see nothing coming out of either of these teams. If one of them happens to make the playoffs, cool. You made the playoffs. You get a first round.
Not
exit.
cool. Not cool. Not cool. Not cool. I cannot stand Giants fans. How stupid can you be to think that this game should have been won? To be upset that Evan Engram dropped that pass because
It's more
what?
than that.
Justin, why are
Justin,
you sharing your screen?
What are you doing, Justin?
Here's a map of the U.S. if you want to.
Look at
reallocate teams.
Louisiana. Like it's
That's the South.
it's in the east. Like it's the
Okay,
east.
it's more East than Texas.
The South shouldn't be in the division. The South should it should be East, like
Yeah.
maybe Central, and then West, or like something, or like Southwest, Southeast. because they need to realign it because this is it's a little ridiculous.
Justin, why do you have a Sephora ad on
I
there?
don't know.
You buying some makeup product for yourself? Trying to
No.
get all dolled up and all pretty up?
No.
It would look nice.
It would look
No,
pretty.
but
I
could you
cared about
imagine
my
the
appearance.
Giants getting the 19th overall pick,
Oh,
and fans
oh,
will take losing in the first round in January.
You get absolutely
Trevor
obliterated
Lawrence?
by the 2 seed. Well, no, you'll have a home game, so
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Do you really want to get obliterated at home in January in front of no fans?
no.
Like, is this worth it to any of you?
No.
How
No.
obtuse can you be?
Just
Just look at the big picture. Dave Gettleman keeps his job if the Giants keep winning games.
Well,
and you
here's the
people-
problem. That's the sticky situation they got him into by hiring a new coach and keeping Gettleman. Because what if they fire Gettleman or let him retire on his own terms? And you got Joe Judge. How you gonna have a new general manager be like, "That's your coach. Deal with it." Like,
Teams are
And also, then you're also, I mean, and if they're committed to Daniel Jones, which I don't think they should be,
They're not.
no.
you're now hiring a GM who's like, hey, you have this quarterback and you have this coach.
it's gonna be a
Maybe
Jet
if it
scenario.
doesn't work for a year, then we'll talk about flipping it.
It's a
But
Jet
for this
scenario with
year,
Sam
this
Darnold.
is what you got to do.
The stakes are too high with Trevor Lawrence. So you have first overall pick, you have to take him.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
have to. Stakes are too high. You're not going to get that prospect like that
Ever again.
Ever again.
It took what 25 years since Peyton Manning, basically.
Well, I mean, Andrew Luck was up there.
Luck was up there, but
It's not as hyped as
Luck was deemed as the most pro-ready quarterback. I don't think any quarterback has been pro-ready and as accomplished as Trevor Lawrence.
yeah.
Like
he's
Andrew Luck came from Stanford, but what did he win?
he didn't win anything.
at
This is
Stanford.
like
He was just deemed a really good.
well, the thing with Trevor
prototype.
Lawrence, we've seen him literally just dominate college football for 3 years.
Just dog it. Just dog it.
I hope Trevor Lawrence stays another year. If like the Jets get the first pick.
No, because the Colts need a new quarterback, and we need Darnold. We don't need Darnold, but I want Darnold just to see what happens.
You guys can get Haskins, I'm sure.
No,
The
I'd
Steelers
rather
don't
have
get him.
Darnold, Dak, anyone.
Matt Ryan. I don't.
Oh, Matt Ryan works so well in Indy because you
The
guys would
Falcons-
go from a not mobile quarterback to an also not,
Not
mobile
mobile.
quarterback.
Yeah, but he's
And
also
that's what
signed.
Chris Ballard wants.
Yeah, he wants old school, but with
He doesn't
that,
pick the ball off as much. And
That's
but
true.
they would be in a big cap hell if they decided to.
oh my God, $36 million with him for like it inflates to like 44, I think, by the end of it, and he's gonna be like 39. So we're literally just Phil Rivers 2.0.
Okay, let's get on with it.
Jesse and Joe, you have the last 2 picks, but
Choose wisely.
Jesse gets to go first, and then Joe has the Mr. Irrelevant game.
Okay. I'll go Bills Jets.
That's what I would want to do. Yeah.
The Bills aren't good. Like they're not good.
It's
If
like
the
congrats, you beat the
Patriots
Jets.
the Patriots had just like one more win on their resume, I would definitively say they're going to win the division. But
think
they're
the-
probably not because
think
now
the
they're racking
Dolphins-
up too much loss.
I think the Dolphins might pull out that division.
Dolphins could pull it with Tua maybe if Tua's
I'm-
as good as we think he can be.
Even if he's not,
But-
they put Fitzpatrick back in. They're winning that division. But the Jets scored all their 10 points in the first half.
They also only had
they jumped
4
out to a 10-0 lead.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then that was it.
They also only had 4 total yards as a team in the second half. So
Adam
that
Gase
happened.
said, "We have a lead. Let's sit on it," even when their lead was gone.
It's just abysmal.
They didn't score a touchdown.
The Bills, this doesn't count.
Oh.
It shouldn't count as a win. It's just a participation. Like it's a glorified preseason
6
game. With,
field goals.
like
It was the best
6 of them.
defense.
They
They-
attempted 8.
yeah, they lost to a kicker. You can't blame. Same thing.
It's
you
like
know,
the Patriots Broncos last week.
yeah, like okay, great, congrats, you beat the Jets. Whoop de doo.
Adam Gase didn't call plays.
Oh yeah, and it got so much better.
They scored 10 points.
They were leading for half the game.
And then they scored 25 yards the rest of the way.
Yeah, the
after.
Greg Williams defense fell apart. But with that, this game falls apart and that pick falls apart. So Joe, the final pick of Week 7.
Yeah, I mean, we've put ourselves as a society in a situation where Patrick Mahomes can read a book. He can go through a shopping list. He can make personal phone calls. He can basically do anything, and it doesn't matter. The Chiefs put up 43 points with Mahomes asking to. They didn't really
He didn't have to do
Nothing.
anything.
No.
Even in the snow, even in the snowy
winter.
winter of Denver, which this was the coldest game ever for a Broncos home game in October. So thanks, climate change. But you know what's weird too? I was thinking like we haven't had a snow game in a while, and I turn on the TV and see, oh, snowing in Denver.
Well, it's also
Cool.
October.
Also October, yeah.
Okay, Justin. Like, we haven't had a snow game in a while. Like in baseball, we haven't had a snow game. It's August, sir. Le'Veon Bell looks to be a nice piece to the puzzle.
Yeah, we can see why he wasn't good for the last year and a half now.
But wasn't his like first 2 runs as a Chief? I think like it would have been like his second and third longest run
as a Jet.
As a Jet in like the whole time.
Phenomenal.
I'm pretty sure I read that stat somewhere. I think on Twitter or something. But yeah.
On the other side of the ball, really quickly, Drew Lock is killing this offense.
Can he be good? Like,
no, he's not. I thought they had something with him, but he's just.
I said this. I don't know why everybody crowned Drew Lock as a franchise quarterback after like 3 games.
People like Drew Lock because he's a white guy who likes to sing rap music. And like
so do I. Nobody likes me.
I like you, Norm.
Wow.
People like Joe.
Wow, come on.
Like Joe.
But yeah, that's literally why. Like they saw him on the sideline. That clip last year of him rapping along to whatever song. I forgot what song.
It was.
He's like, you.
I said he was a meme.
Oh man, he said like me. I was like, oh, it's like both of you now.
Just look at what Denver did in the draft, and look at what they did in free agency. They loaded up this offense at every turn. They have tight ends, they have wide receivers, they have running backs. Their line, not great, but it's not as bad as it was last year.
Yeah.
And
it's locked.
They can't do anything.
It's locked.
They John Elway loaded up all of these pieces and all of these assets. I came into the year saying if Drew Lock does not have a good year this year, they need to move on from him because they've given him absolutely everything. He has 3 running backs. He has 2 tight ends. He has 4 wide receivers, even though Sutton has been injured. And their defense, I mean, Vic Fangio was brought in for his defense. Have they been fantastic? Not really, but still.
He also has a relatively decent offensive line. Not the best, not the worst, but,
decent enough.
Mid-tier, he has a left tackle. Like, that's more than what Joe Burrow has.
Yeah.
Takes risks. They don't work, but like he takes them, and something needs to be said for that.
Yeah. And that's
why he's
be more like Drew Lock, guys. If you're listening,
Drew Lock, Drew Lock and Gardner Minshew are like
identical.
Almost the same quarterback. Just Drew Lock listens to rap music and Minshew has a mustache. Like they're both memes. They both became starting quarterbacks and really shouldn't have been. And they both had 2 good games. And everybody's like, you can't draft a quarterback. You can't. Yeah. There's no way you can draft a quarterback. You got to see what you have in this guy.
And with that, let's pick Thursday Night Football for the week. The Atlanta Falcons are heading to Carolina to take on the Panthers.
Carolina.
Can we really pick Atlanta? We really can't, I don't think.
They give you no reason to pick them, ever.
Carolina.
Watch Matt Carolina, but also if the Falcons win, Matt Rule is going to coach such a good game and lose.
If McCaffrey does come back, which it is being scheduled for him to come back, gotta go Carolina. Easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Atlanta, but I think Carolina.
If you're listening,
no one's listening.
Be like Drew Lock. Take risks in your life. They won't always work. Be like Drew Lock. Sing along to your favorite song. Throw the ball downfield when you're down 43-16. I'm gonna take a risk. Atlanta's gonna win.
He's gonna win somehow. Joe's gonna win.
Yeah, he's gonna win again. That's as simple as that. But that's week 7 in the books. We're on to week 8, the midway point of the NFL season, and it just keeps chugging along. And that's football.
Keeps getting better.
Absolutely. And Clark, the outro, please.
Oh, okay. Thanks guys for listening to the podcast again. Like I said in the beginning of the show, you can follow us on all our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Justin, at @department_pod. Justin didn't know we had a TikTok.
Twitter and Instagram. That's all I need.
I say it every episode, all 40-something.
And I'm on my phone half the time during the outro.
Rude, disrespecting my outro. Look at Joe looking right at the screen. Great kid.
This guy really cares about the viewer. He cares about the content.
I care
More
about
listener.
viewers.
More listener. We have that too. We're on
Yeah, them. Well, yeah, them episode, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So subscribe on there. Leave a comment. Tell us your favorite part of the show. We like interacting with you guys. We do. We care about our viewers and our listeners. We do. We have, what do we have planned? A World Series episode probably coming soon. We hinted at a betting episode.
We're doing sports betting. We're going to see how that goes.
So that's going to come up pretty soon too. Wrestling recap like usual. So stay tuned to all that fun stuff and we'll see you in the next episode.